Hello my dear students in grade 8. I'm teacher Rehan Talahme and today we're going to discuss the grammar of unit 6, which is about time clauses. In your student's book, page 62. So let's start together. First of all, you may ask yourself, what is a time clause? A time clause in English is introduced with the following time conjunctions or words, like when, like as, while, before, since, as soon as, till, until, by the time, etc. I'm sure that you know all these words. When you say a conjunction word, it means that this word is used to join two sentences together. When you use the words when, as, while to join sentences, you will have what we call it a time clause. The second point to distinguish a time clause, that a time clause answers the question when. Let's see the examples given here. I will stay here until you arrive. Until is the time word or the conjunction word that I use to join the two sentences here. Until you arrive, it's the same as until the time or to the time you arrive home or arrive. Let's use when to ask a question. When will I stay here? When will I stay here? Of course, the answer gonna be until you arrive. Until you arrive is the time clause that answers the question when. Let's see the following example here. After we had watched the movie, we went to sleep. When did you go to sleep? Of course, the answer gonna be after we had watched the movie. After we had watched the movie is the time clause that answers the question when did we go to sleep. Let's come back again to the same examples. Look at the place where until and after are in every sentence or is in every sentence. I will stay here until you arrive. Until here came in the middle of the clause, so you don't need to separate the two halves with a comma. But in the second one, after we had watched the movie, comma, we went to sleep. Because the time word came at the beginning of the clause, we separate the two halves by using a comma. Don't forget that time clauses are always subordinate clauses. Subordinate clauses, let's see the example here. Before we left the house, we turned off lights. Before we left the house here, this is the time clause because it started with the word before, which is a time word. And the second one is a main clause. We know that time clauses always are subordinate clauses. If you want to remind yourself with subordinate clauses, you can go back to your student book, Unit 4, the language development, and you will revise yourself with the subordinate clauses. Now let's check your understanding for the time words and do the following exercise. I will cook dinner until or as soon as or before I arrive home. Of course, the answer is going to be as soon as. Drink your coffee before, after, or while it gets cold. Of course, the answer is going to be before, which is much more suitable as a meaning for the sentence. We will find a hotel while or till or when we arrive to Paris. Excellent. The answer is going to be when we arrive to Paris. Now, let's see the very important part in my lesson, which is the sequence of tenses. You know, in time clauses, we have a main clause, and a time clause. Then the verb in the main clause and the time clause should match each other. Let's see the rule here. In the main clause, if the verb is in the present simple or in the future or is imperative, the verb in the time clause should be in the present simple or in the present perfect. So let's see the examples given here. I will study very hard. Will study is in the future simple. The verb in the time clause can be get or have got, can be present simple or present perfect. Until I get or have got the best mark. I will study very hard until I get or have got the best mark. See that the verb here in the future simple and the verb there in the time clause in the present simple or in the present perfect. See the second example. Do your homework as soon as you arrive home. Do is an imperative verb. Imperative verb, it's like a command. It's a base form verb, so do your homework, it should be arrive or have arrived. It depends on you. So you have to care so much about the sequence of tenses in the two halves. Let's see the second rule. If the verb is in the past simple or past perfect or past continuous in the main clause, it could be one of the following in the time clause. It could be in the past simple or past perfect or past continuous. Sammy had washed his hands before he had his lunch. Before he had his lunch. You can, for example, while I was having my lunch, the bell rang. We all know these examples in the past tense. So be careful about the sequence of tenses in the time clauses. Don't forget something or be careful with something. We never use future tenses after the time conjunctions. Never ever use future tense after the time conjunction. We use the present simple or the present perfect instead. Only use the present simple or the present perfect instead. Let's see the example here. I will sleep after I have finished or after I finish the housework. It's impossible for me to see I will sleep after I will. It's impossible. This is wrong. Never ever use will after the time conjunctions in the time clauses. I will sleep after I finish or after I have finished the housework. So don't forget. Now girls, open your worksheets and do the exercises together. Let's circle the correct time word. Okay, let's think over the sentences here. Let's do the first one. As soon as or until he had finished his lunch, he went back to work. Excellent. As soon as he had finished his lunch, he went back to work. We didn't touch anything until or as the police arrived. Very good. Until the police arrived. Please return the books while or as soon as you have finished with them. As soon as you have finished with them. I saw the accident since or while I was working in the garden. I know that it's easy for you to do. Of course, it's while I was working in the garden. When or since we got home, we realized our dog was missing. Of course, when we got home, when we got home, we realized our dog was missing. So with the time they got home, they realized or recognized that their dog was missing. The following one is after he had checked into the hotel, we went to get something to eat. So let's go to number 7. I would love to see you before or by the time you leave. Of course, before you leave. And the last one, Since or as long as he moved to the countryside, he has been more relaxed. Of course, the answer is since. Let's see the following exercise. Correct the verb forms between brackets. Let's do it together. After Carol, girls, don't forget the verb or the tenses that we had in Unit 1 in our books. It's very useful for you to remind yourself with the verb tenses or the tenses in general. After Carol, of course, had fed the baby, she went to bed. You have past perfect here, and on the other hand, there is a past simple. The second one, oh, I was reading a novel when it started to rain. I was reading a novel when it started to rain. So you have past continuous, and on the other half, of course, it should be past simple. It's impossible for you to have past continuous with the future or past continuous with the present. It's impossible. Open the window before the house. See here, it started with open. Open is imperative. So on the other half there should be present simple or present perfect. So the answer gonna be what? Before you leave the house. As soon as I arrive. As soon as I arrive, it means that there should be future or imperative or whatever on the first half. Of course, what is suitable, which is future simple, I will help you as soon as I arrive. The last one, I will wait. Well, wait here, it means that the second half should be in the present simple or present perfect. I will wait here until Laura finishes the project. That's all what I have about the time clauses. Don't forget the exercises in your workbook, page 57. Wish you a good day and thank you for your good listening. See you بصحة وبسلامة.